Okay, the Civil Service Commission monthly meeting this September the 8th is called to order. We'll begin with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, that the Warmish people, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself, the Warmish tribe. We are here to do the work of the Seattle Civil Service Commission, whose responsibility is to ensure that Seattle City's workforce reflects the shared values of this community, respect for the indigenous people, and committed to holding each other accountable. Our next item of business will be introductions. I'll start with myself. My name is Ray Caesar, Commissioner's Chair, Civil Service Commissioner's Chair.
Denise Wells, Commissioner.
Mary Wiseman Williams, Commissioner.
I'm Andrea Shealy. I'm the Executive Director. Teresa Jacobs, Executive Assistant.
Joe Levan, and is the City Attorney's Office legal counsel for the Commission.
Ann Vold, City Attorney's Office, also counsel for the Commission.
Okay, the next item of business, public comment, if you're interested.
There is none in writing.
No public comments has been noted. The next item of business will be the approval of the August 11th monthly meeting minutes. The minutes has been distributed to the board. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
Not for me.
I have no changes.
Meaning that there's no corrections or changes. The minutes for August the 11th Civil Service Commission monthly meeting minutes will be approved as distributed. Our next item of business will be updates and discussions that will be presented by the Executive Director.
Yes, thank you, Chair Caesar. Our department continues its departmental work. Most of our staff is currently involved in exam administration. We're actually wrapping that work up for the year today. We kicked off assessor training for the last promotional exam of 2025, and that's fireboat engineer down at Station 5 on the waterfront on the fireboat Leshai. So that's pretty exciting. The next big exam piece will be firefighter applications, which open in October. And that is a very large process. So we're pretty excited to kick that off. This will be the first year we've done that 2 years in a row. And we expect to continue that into the future. Otherwise, our department continues to process employee appeals. We have a number of appeals on the public safety civil service side. I will, in just a moment, provide a very brief update on the appeal that you have on the civil service side. We are also, budget decisions are being made for the proposed budget by the mayor's office. He will announce his proposed budget on September 23rd. So as a department, we've been engaging with our budget analyst, providing information so that they can do that presentation. We will continue to engage in the budget process with the city council, answer any questions that they have during their deliberative budget process. We do not have a budget document in your packet today because it has not been published for the month. The budget to actuals has not been published yet for September, but we will, as the document notes, we will email the document to you for your review when it is available. We are looking forward to welcoming our new employee, Emily Winslow, on September 24th. I think that might be next week or the week after, very soon. So developing her onboarding. She's going to be joining the police testing team. She'll be the third member of the police testing team, and then we will have full employment in our department for the first time this year. Very, very exciting. I'm open to your questions, but otherwise, that is my report on departmental work, and I'll proceed to the case status report. All right. In your packet, we only have one appeal with the Civil Service Commission right now. We've had that for a few months, and that is Brown v. Parks. As you know, the hearing is scheduled to start December 8th of this year. Joe Levan and I and the rest of the folks in this room who are not on the Civil Service Commission participated in a hearings training for the Public Safety Civil Service Team Commission a few weeks ago. I thought it was really good. I hope that they thought it was good too. I'm actually going to send out a survey to them to get some feedback, but we are planning to do a similar training with you all in November. I'm sorry, I don't have the date at my fingertips. But if you do have any specific questions, and we asked this last time, but if you have any more specific questions, please email them to me so we can make sure to incorporate them into this training that's coming up. Thank you in advance for that longer meeting that we'll have to get y'all ready, but we hope that at the end of it, you'll feel well equipped, if not well equipped, much more equipped than you currently feel to hear a disciplinary appeal by a member of the civil service system.
It looks like the date on that's November 10th. Is that
Correct. All right, and that concludes my report, but I'm happy to take any questions. All right.
Thank you.
I think we can move on to number 6 then.
Next order of business will be a presentation. We have a guest with us today. I think the name is Arcarinio Bartolo. May. I know I messed it up.
Would you like to come up? And
And,
you a little picture. Can you bring me on?
Oh, shoot.
Also a presenter will present for Sarah as well, Sarah Butler.
Welcome, Aurelio.
Thank you.
Great. So yes, welcome Ireneo. We're going to be co-presenting on this. Ireneo currently oversees much of the employee grievance process, and in my former life, I oversaw grievances at the step 3 level as well. I'm really appreciative for the opportunity to collaborate with Ireneo on this because, as you all know, the grievance process is really critical first step of the employee appeal process that needs to be exhausted prior to coming forth with the commission for appeal. And this is an area that was identified as kind of a knowledge gap with employees, at least 2 employees reaching out to me about appeals.
Sorry, Sarah, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Can we switch spots so Mary can hear you since she's on speaker?
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt. Or maybe I can move the. Doesn't look so. Pointed at you. Mary, can you hear? Mary, Commissioner Wagman-Williams?
Yes, I can hear you, but I can barely hear Sarah.
All right.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, you maybe want to switch spots with Commissioner Caesar. Did you get those materials, Commissioner Wagman-Williams?
I did, I'm planning the meeting as an outside guest using the public link and nothing works. I think there's just simply a network.
Oh, sure. Did you get the PowerPoint that Sarah sent?
Yeah, I have it up.
Okay. Sure. Thanks. Great. Sorry to interrupt you.
So here is an overview of what we will be talking about today. I'm going to get started at kind of a broader level, and then I'm going to kick it over to Irene to get into the specifics. Irene, did you want to introduce yourself any further before we move on?
No, hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Irene Bartolome. I am SHR Policy and Legislation Advisor.
Okay, so starting with the grievance procedure and background. So the Seattle Municipal Code provides for an employee grievance process. I looked kind of back, through the code over the years. The grievance process has been with us since 1978, so since the beginning of this system as it's been here. The code itself provides for a process, and that the SHR director will establish rules for it. It is intra-departmental, so it kind of progressively escalates through lower steps, and then the third step is a recommendation for resolution by the SHR director, but it is still within the department. It's by the appointing authority to accept another grievance. And at that point, the appointing authority provides notice of appeal rights. So that's all encapsulated in the code. And Personnel Rule 1.4 is the governing policy for administration of employee grievances. Let's see, in terms of volume, the number of grievances that are received under this process is relatively small. I reached out just to kind of get a sense of how many grievances the city oversees a year, because there's grievances that a represented employee can bring forward under their contract grievance. And they see about 80 grievances a year, whereas the non-rep historically have been between kind of 3 and 8. Feel free to chime in, Irene. It makes sense that the city workforce is highly unionized. So when the grievances come through, they're mostly filed by non-represented employees. But represented employees are able to participate as well. Eligibility to file a grievance. Employees need to be covered by the non-public safety civil service, and they can understand their status if they're covered or not by looking at their higher level letter or talking to their HR rep, or they can reach out to a member of our staff. Union members are eligible to use the grievance procedure, but they need to choose either the contract grievance process or the process under Personnel Rule 1.4. They can't pursue both paths. And public safety civil service employees have their own process. Temporary employees and library employees are never covered by civil service and aren't eligible. And what I find to be interesting is that probationary employees are actually able to file a grievance. It doesn't happen very frequently, but they're not precluded from doing that. Scope of the grievance jurisdiction, as outlined in the personnel rule. They can use the grievance process to grieve alleged violations of Seattle Municipal Code Chapter 4.04 or personnel rules and any other policies or procedures adopted pursuant thereto. Most commonly, this looks like disciplinary actions. Employees may not grieve alleged violations of a collective bargaining agreement, the final classification or compensation decisions by the SHR director, or other policies outside the grievance process. Some examples I like to cite are a federal law relating to employee safety, or even a department's own internal workplace expectations. If they don't fall under the umbrella or the authority of the personnel rules or somewhere else in the code, they're not covered by the grievance process. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Irene.
Thanks, Sarah. So an employee must initiate the grievance process within 20 days of the grievable incident. I'll get into what that means. The 20 days are calendar days, and the submission procedures depends on at which step the grievance is initiated. Okay. There's a slide that summarizes some of those steps. For subsequent steps of the grievance process, the employee must escalate or advance within 14 days of the response of the prior or the previous step. Next slide. So a written grievance must include the following: a description of the grievable incident, and that is the specific event for which the employee believes a covered rule or law was violated. Additionally, the grievance must include a description of the specific policy or law that is alleged to have been violated. And then finally, a remedy. So the proposed resolution of the grievance or what the grievant would like to see happen. So this is a flow chart of the various steps of the procedures leading up to the notice of appeal with the Civil Service Commission. And this also identifies relevant timelines or the timelines relevant to each step, as well as just a summary of what is required at each step. Next slide, unless you want me to go into the individual steps or
Commissioner Wells, are you interested in delving into these steps a little bit more? I think you were the one who had brought this topic.
Well, to be honest with you, the slideshow is no longer showing on my screen. It like disappeared and Sarah's box came up. Anyway, if I could see it again, I might look at the list. But no, so far I don't have any questions. I appreciate you going over this.
It might have been, I think I might have been the one that brought this up, and I don't have any questions either.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really
Thank you, Commissioner
the
Wegman.
steps and the days associated with the test.
Okay.
I was a little curious originally about the appeal process for people for the hiring.
Oh, I'm
process.
sorry. I got mixed up. Thank you.
It's all right.
Okay, well, I can go on here.
so an employee may file at a step other than step one, but the employee should include or copy the relevant individuals at the step that was skipped. So for example, if an employee chooses to initiate a grievance at step 2 with the division director, the employee should include the immediate supervisor, which is the relevant person to include in the previous step at step 1. If the employee and their department disagree on the appropriate step, the grievance should begin at step 1 and advance through from step 1. And if the department does not timely respond to a grievance step, which again is 14 days, the grievant may automatically advance to the next step. Next slide. So at step 3, the appointing authority ultimately makes that final determination of the resolution of the step 3 grievance. And the appointing authority must provide a notice of the grievance appeal rights to the Civil Service Commission and the timelines for appeal. The employee must file a notice of appeal with the Civil Service Commission within 20 days after delivery of that step 3 grievance response from the appointing authority. And Andrea, as the Civil Service Commission Executive Director, will review the appeal to determine timeliness, jurisdiction for the appeal, and whether the employee grievance procedures had been exhausted prior to filing a notice of appeal.
Prior to moving on to the pre-hearing process. Okay.
Say that once more.
Before moving into the pre-hearing process.
Sure. Yeah, that's the threshold. First level of review once it comes to us. And when when for instance, exhaustion has not been met, they haven't done the grievance procedure and we receive an appeal, we direct the employee back as quickly as we can to go and go through that whole process that Aurelio just described.
And here are other employee resolution processes. So there is an informal dispute resolution that's provided by the Office of Employee Ombudsman. There's a formal investigation process that's done by the Human Resources Investigation Unit within SHR. And that's specifically of alleged violations of Personnel Rule 1.1, which prohibits illegal discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. And then represented employees may also grieve, utilize their procedures under their collective bargaining agreement, but note, as Sarah mentioned, that represented employees cannot file both a grievance under the CBA as well as under the Personnel Rule or Personnel Rule 1.4 employee grievance procedures. They have to use one or the other.
Right, and these first.
So if they're not successful, if they choose to not do the civil service and they're not successful in their appeal, then that's the end of it?
That's the end of it if they had started with the employee grievance procedure, where they put in then switch to their.
At the end, yeah, they can't do a second appeal through the civil
Right.
service.
That's right.
Can we is it possible to put the slides back up? Can't see them anymore. They were going along just fine and then
I'm not sure, maybe if you take it down and put it back up.
oh, well, never mind. I'm following along okay.
Anne, can you see the slides?
I can.
Oh, well, I don't know what happened. They just disappeared.
Do you have
Don't worry
maybe two windows open, maybe?
No, I got Sarah's stationary window instead of the slides now. I don't know why, but don't worry about it. I'm following along.
Okay. So, and just to note, with the Office of the Employee Ombudsman or HRIU, if there's other paths being pursued there, the grievance process pauses until that all plays out. So
That's nice.
Yeah. And do you want to cover this or?
Sure, yeah. So this is just a slide on additional resources for employees or department HR folks, where to look for more information about the grievance process. Of course, Personnel Rule 1.4 is the governing policy. But Ireneo and I have collaborated on new FAQs on the grievance process. I do have a copy here I can hand out, and I can post these with our meeting materials that goes into it in a little more detail and hopefully a little more accessibly than what is in the personnel rule.
That's great. One thing that Sarah and I have talked about many times is that this is a challenging process for employees to know about in the first place, and then second of all, to understand how to do it. And it's pretty important if an employee wants to be able to pursue an appeal. So I'm really happy to see that you two have worked on these FAQs.
Yeah, I like the optional form or template that employees can use. That will ensure that all the elements in a written grievance is prompted at least by the employees. So.
And this is posted on our website. I think it's going to be posted for employees on SHR as well.
Great.
Another reminder that employees who are wanting to know if they're covered by civil service can talk to their HR rep, or they can reach out to us. They can reach out to me. And then Ireneo is also a resource for any questions about the grievance process. And here's his email address.
Ireneo, I know you've been pushing this information out to departments as well. What have you done to let employees know about these FAQs and about this process recently?
Yeah, Sarah and I had gave a similar presentation to the Human Resources Leadership Team last week and shared the FAQs. So the various HR leaders across the city will share those and distribute the FAQs and those resources to its employees. As Sarah mentioned, this will be posted on Civil Services website as well as SHR. And I think so far those are like immediate steps. I don't know, we might continue with more presentations, or if you have any other ideas or.
Roadshow.
Yeah. So far we've been speaking to departments, but it might be nice to maybe a lunch and learn for employees or, yeah. So,
Yeah, well, and you have an employee in the employment section here who can spread the message with the others in the law department.
Give a sense of the eligible employees, they're seeking a grievance under either path. How many choose as percentage wise, or how many choose the path of doing the grievance through collective bargaining, and how many choose through civil service?
I mean, this year I've only received about 4 grievances this year to date. But I think the statistic you gave earlier was about.
Yeah, there are roughly 80 filed under CBAs, but some of those are reclassification and some of those are sort of other things.
It could be just related to a provision of the contract. Right?
Yeah. So for discipline, it's difficult to see how this works. But the volume is definitely much better.
Yeah, and for commissioner's context, Sarah Butler used to be in the role that Irenia is in now. So she used to directly receive these grievances from employees or through the director. And now he is doing that role.
But they're also received at step 1 and 2, and I never had visibility to that, and I don't.
That's true, no. So, there may be appeals that are initiated at step 1 and maybe are resolved, or go to step 2 or resolved there, and I never see them. So that might be an interesting thing to also try to get data on too.
Yeah.
But
Does LR do any centralized collection of data about department level grievances?
yeah, they do collect data or track grievances for the departments that each negotiator manages. So I might actually, contact Chase and see if I can get like a more comprehensive or summary of how many grievances are filed.
The city has a very federated model of human resources, as you all know, because you've all been involved in human resources in the city of Seattle for a long time. But it can be challenging to gather citywide data, but we still do it.
Or try to.
We try to. Thank you.
Great. Well, I don't have anything else.
That's really helpful, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here. Commissioner Weidman-Williams, did you have any questions or follow-up? I want to make sure that you're still here with us.
Yeah, I'm still here and I don't have any questions. I appreciate having the slide deck and I did follow along. I'll follow up if I have any questions, but it was particularly useful to see the timelines and the steps laid out. And I look forward to seeing the FAQs in more detail.
Thank you. Thank you both.
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aurelio, for your presentation and as well, Ms. Lunder, for the presentation.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you. You're welcome. Stay.
Have a nice afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
care.
Thank you. Okay, our next item of business will be action items. Are there any?
None that I'm aware of.
Hearing none, our next item of business, executive session. That was scheduled.
No need that I'm aware of.
Okay. Okay, our next order of business, a new business. Would you like Director Shelley to give an update on?
Well, I think, Ms. Jacobs, would you like to give an update on the civil service conference?
Sure. So I put in the old new business, save the dates. The 44th Annual Civil Service Conference is in October. We still haven't received any further information on registration, but as soon as that comes in, we will send that out to you. And that is October 21st and 22nd, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I think that the information that pertains to CSC is usually on the second day. Is that correct?
I can't remember, but when we get the agenda, we'll let you know what sessions we recommend you consider attending.
And then the joint meeting with PSCSC is on November 20th at 10 a.m. The commission will discuss the executive director's yearly review, as well as we will likely provide a year-end review for both commissions.
Yeah, and the only other update I have is I know that Commissioner Weidman-Williams is nearing the end of her term. We've had a good deal of interest in folks who would like to be considered for appointment. So we've gathered their materials, and we're kind of waiting to see what happens in the coming months because it is a mayoral appointment. But we'll keep in touch with those folks, and so I think it's looking good, Mary, that you'll have someone to replace you as soon as the mayor can act.
Okay. And I will also say that as I guess a matter of new business, I am now unable to attend the October meeting as it's scheduled. I'll be out of town, and the way the flights worked out, I'm not gonna be able to join remotely.
Okay, that's great. That's great to let the chair know that. We'll still be able to conduct a meeting if our other two commissioners are able to attend, because we'll still have a quorum in that case. But our business is really, the commission's business is really going to be mostly conducted in November. We have the training meeting plus the joint meeting scheduled for that month. So it's possible that if we have no new business, we may consider canceling the October meeting and just devoting more, energy towards being able to devote that energy to work in November.
Mhm.
So Commissioner Caesar, why don't you and I be in touch about that closer to the date?
Okay.
And we can make a decision closer to that.
Okay.
I'll make a note of that. Thank you, Commissioner Weidman-Williams, for that early notice.
Yeah, no problem.
And I just want to confirm, we're still holding the week of December 8th for the hearing.
That's right. October.
I don't see anything on the calendar yet, so
Okay, we'll be sure to get that on your calendar right away.
I have it on my personal calendar, but I don't see it on Outlook.
All right. Thanks for flagging that. We will take action on that. But if the parties do notify us that they have resolved the case, we'll also let you know that as soon as we can.
Okay.
Current dates are December 8th through the 10th, is that right?
Yes, and there was a team. Yeah, there was a team invite for that week sent out.
All right, I'll look for it. I'm just looking at the calendar. I don't see the Civil Service Commission meeting on the 8th. So.
Oh, you're right. I did not add the commissioners because we hadn't set the schedule just yet, so I've just got it tentative. But I'll go ahead and I'll send those dates out to everyone.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you for that information. And I guess we'll get back with them regarding the board for the October standard meeting.
Yes, if we have no new business to conduct in October, for instance, if no new appeals are filed or nothing comes up, I'll contact you and we can talk about potentially canceling that meeting.
Okay. The next order of business is we'll be needing a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn the meeting. It's at 2:41.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that this meeting be adjourned. It is now approximately 2:40. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, this meeting is now adjourned. It is now, again, 2:40 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,
See you
Goodbye.
later.